If it's a hot take, then we got to talk about it. And this one right here, initially, when I first heard this many, many moons ago, I dismissed it because it really didn't make sense. And to some way, in some cases, it doesn't make sense as well. But if you try to look, if you look hard enough at it, you can make it make sense, which is what I have to do. It's part of my job here on YouTube. How can I connect this to the Detroit Lions? And I must say that the more I thought about it, the more intriguing it became. And that is this. You already know from the thumbnail that according to NFL rumors, the Tennessee Titans are expected to explore trade options for Derrick Henry at the trade deadline per CBS Sports. Now, in my opinion, this hasn't made sense. I've seen the comments. You guys have wanted Derrick Henry here for a long time. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. I talk about my Detroit Lions, NFL rumors, how it can equate to my team, whether it doesn't make sense or it does. That's what I do here on my platform. You can decide whether it's clickbait or if you want to watch or not. That is totally up to you. You have the opinion and the right to do that, okay? However, I don't manufacture things. I always see how can they come back to my team. And until recently, it really didn't make sense. Now you're talking about dream scenarios and things like that, which I kind of think this still is. We're talking about other things that we need. And then I said, I had to remember, shout out to my guy I was talking to, I had to remember, well, how could the Detroit Lions ever be looking into something like this? Again, not saying that they are, not saying that they're rumored to be or anything like that, but Derrick Henry has always been a dog, and you're like, okay, well, how could this make sense? It really didn't, unless you were trying to put together a fantasy team, until David Montgomery's injury, right? And the fact that until yesterday, we had depleted every single running back on the practice squad. As of the making of this video, we have on our team Jahmyr Gibbs, who looks like he's a go on Sunday, Craig Reynolds. We just signed Mohamed Ibrahim to the practice squad, and we have Devine Ozigbo as RB3. So I said, well, what if David can't go? What if David can't go? Could Derrick Henry be somebody that we're looking into? So before we go any further, put in the comment section whether you would want the Detroit Lions to trade for Derrick Henry. Now, then I thought, okay, well, that's scenario A, that David Montgomery doesn't return. So, and then, or you're right, that he doesn't return, and then we have Derrick Henry. Then scenario B is Derrick Henry, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, who ain't even got started yet. Then you start getting goosebumps like, you talking about an offense that you would not be able to stop. Montgomery, Henry, and Gibbs. We've been talking about Super Bowl winning moves since the season began. And what would be one that the Detroit Lions could make? Now, our offense is relatively fine, but the running back room is depleted. Now, you have another running back out there who's sitting on his couch currently, Leonard Fournette, that would cost little to nothing. And then you have Derrick Henry. How can I forget that? He has my same name, spelled the same and everything. Derrick Henry that you might explore. They might be exploiting a trade for. Now, let's look at same name brother stats. Kind of a whack year. It's a whack year. I haven't really watched much Tennessee Titan football as of late, but this is a subpar year for Derrick Henry when it comes to his running back, what he's done. He put up 1,500 yards last year in 16 games. He played all but one. In his career, he has 4 seasons over 1,000 yards. He even eclipsed 2,000 back in 2020. Is it a location? Is it because of where he's at that his stats are like they are? He's 29. He will be 30 when we're making our playoff run. But you're talking about making a playoff run. I know I'm screaming about a wide receiver. I know I'm screaming about a defensive end. And I'm not really screaming about this, but Derrick Henry, I've seen the man work out. I've seen his run. We are on some of his highlight tapes. This is all the realm of fantasy right now, because I don't know if my team would be willing to do that. But if they were, our our offense would be unstoppable with those 3 running backs. And we haven't even got one started. I'm just saying. Now you have the issue of cap space. I forgot to look up before I started making this video what the Detroit Lions have available, but Derrick Henry signed a deal back. He signed a 4-year deal back in 2020. But check this out. The last 2 years of his deal are voidable, which is probably why the Tennessee Titans, in addition to that, he's aging, right? While they're trying to explore trade options. This man will go to a Super Bowl winning caliber team. We can afford this. We can afford to make this happen. I want to say we might have less than 10 million right now. We could afford to make this happen. Now, again, it is my job, what I consider to be my job, to talk about things around the NFL that can affect my team in one way or another. And if I bring it to the Detroit Lions, I have to either make it make sense or dismiss it. Okay. And I think this falls right in the middle. It's a fantasy lineup, but it's also very logical because David Montgomery, we don't know the significance of his injury. We thought that maybe he can come back after the bye week. I assume that he's going to be shelved to the bye week. Is it possible David Montgomery could go to injured reserve? We don't know. Dan Campbell got in front of the media to say and said we won't know more until either tomorrow or Friday, right? Do I think this is going to happen? I would say on a scale from 1 to 10, 2, that it would happen. Do I want it to happen? On a scale from 1 to 10, I probably wouldn't be mad. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if this happened. There are other needs on our team. I'm going to be the first to admit that, including a potential cornerback, a potential defensive end, a potential defensive tackle, a potential wide receiver. Just throwing it out there. This right here is, I wouldn't be mad. This is not, or is it? Or is it something that we need? So again, this is what I do. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch. But I think it's funny that y'all got a lot to say. Okay. And when I say y'all, I'm generalizing the people that like to dismiss the video without even watching it. Because if you watch the video, you would realize that I'm one of the most realistic people on this platform. Okay. So do I see this happening? I'll give it a 10% chance that it happens. If Brad Holmes was to make this happen, this would be the move that I was talking about. A move of somebody that will move the needle. And Derrick Henry, 30 years old, during our playoff run, because we are making the playoffs, we are going far. This is the type of move that not only moves the needle, but completely blows it off the chart. So how much truth to this? I don't know. What would Tennessee want? What could they ask for? Brad Holmes is known to fleece people. This guy is on an expiring contract. They can't hold a king's ransom. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. It was right there. So let me know down below. Derrick Henry traded. If he was traded to your team, how would you feel? Would you even want that to happen? I don't know. There's a lot of other stuff too. The expiring contract. Could we keep him? All that stuff. Last 2 years of his contract was voided. He is a unrestricted free agent in 2024, according to SpotTrack. Never would have crossed my mind until today. And then thinking about the significance of David Montgomery. We don't know what that injury is. And it's to me, it would be a win-win situation. Honestly, I still think we need DN. I still think we need those guys, but this is a win-win situation. David Montgomery can't come back. We got Henry and Gibbs and Craig and Mo and all them guys. He can come back, man. I'm telling you're talking about a path to the Super Bowl. What I don't want to see is the Kansas City Chiefs get him or the Dallas Cowboys get him, or I don't want to see that happen, right? The San Francisco 49ers, they got their guy. Maybe the Philadelphia Eagles, well, they got their guy, our old guy. But I can see a Dallas, something happening. Jerry Jones will make this happen. That dude, but they also haven't won in over 30 years. So let me know in the comments below. I know I could have went on for a while. Did not mean for this video to be almost 10 minutes. And before we get off, listen, if you see the ticker below, it says we've sold 30 tickets. 30 tickets. We got room for about 10 more before we max out and maybe have to create some space. And if you use promo code Detroit Lions, all lowercase, upon checkout, you will receive 10% off the total of your ticket prices. So we're almost there. Got about 96 hours or so until we get going to the watch party against the Baltimore Ravens at Uno's Pizzeria, and I can't wait to see you there. We're going to have a good time. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.